Hello, my nerdy Nawg-Dawgs. This was your Friday word problem, and I'm hoping that you can share it with your parents and walk them through the steps independently. Now, of course, you can always just do the math of it, but for those of you who don't even know where to begin, I'm trying to give you a jump off spot and a visual that should help you to solve for these sort of problems as we move forward. And Math and Focus does tend to use the same style of problem each and every time. So let's read this problem. Ashton and Patrick had 96 marbles altogether. Ooh, that altogether is kind of a key word. We've seen this before, right? Ashton loses 24 marbles to Patrick during the game. Now Patrick has twice as many as Ashton. How many marbles did Patrick have before the game? Okay, so when I go to my spiral notebook, my friends, we already set up the key details, right? And we know that Ashton and Patrick together have 96 marbles. And then during the game, Ashton loses or gives Patrick 24 of his marbles. And then at the end, Patrick has 2 times as many as Ashton. So those are the key details. What are we supposed to solve for? How many Patrick has at the start, at the beginning. Okay, so here's how I kind of set it up. We need to solve for this. However, what we do know is that at the end of the game, Patrick has twice as many as Ashton. Come on, my nerdy Nawg-Dawgs. You know how to do this model, right? Set it up for me. Pause the video and go. Twice as many. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, so your model should look something like this. We know Ashton has some, but then we know at the end of the game, Patrick has twice as many. Okay, so we know that these are even amounts, but we don't know what the amount is. What we do know, hang on to this, my friends, because this is the key in helping you solve. We do know that all together, they have 96 marbles. Okay, and the reason we know that is they start with 96 marbles altogether. Well, guess what? Ashton doesn't give his marbles to me. He gives them to Patrick. So at the end, they still have the same amount, 96 marbles, right? That hasn't changed. We can even go to our before and we can write in 96 marbles. We know that all together, whether it's the start of the game or after the end of the game, they still have 96 marbles. Just who has how many is what changes, okay? And this is what we're trying to solve for. We don't know yet. So something should be looking familiar with this model. Yes, we know that Patrick has 2 times as many as Ashton. We know that all together they have 96 marbles. Do you remember how to solve for this? When we have the total amount, we can divide the total amount by how many units. How many units are there in here? There are 3 units. So if we divide the total amount of marbles by 3 units, it will tell us how much or what is the value of 1 unit. So let's do that. Nerdy Nawg-Dawgs, 96 divided by 1, 2, 3 parts. And that's what division is, right? We're dividing into parts. So when I do this, I end up with 32. So what does that value mean? That 32 is the value of 1 unit. So if that unit is 32, then this unit is 32, and this unit is 32. And if I were to add 32 plus 32 plus 32, it would equal 96. So now we have accounted for all the pieces there, okay? Keep that in mind. What are we solving for, though? How many Patrick has at the start? Oh my goodness. So take note, what's in yellow? Because that is key to solving. Ashton loses 24 marbles. to Patrick during the game. So how do we solve for how much they start with? Well, if this is the model after Ashton gives 24 marbles to Patrick, then couldn't we say Ashton plus 24 would equal the beginning amount for Ashton? Yeah, so let's do that. 32 plus 24 that he loses, and that gives me 56. And I like to label everything. So this 56, I'm going to say, is the amount that Ashton starts with. And I'm even going to go in and label these pieces. So this is end for Ashton. And then that 24 was gives to Patrick. Aha. So now we know that Ashton starts the game with 56. So how do we solve for how many Patrick started the game with? Should be going ding, 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 ding now, my friends. Can't we take the total amount of marbles and subtract how many Ashton started with? And wouldn't that tell us what Patrick? So think about our number bonds, right? I know that this number plus this number is going to equal 96 marbles. And that is how you solve. So how many does Patrick start with?